The Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on Newstalk ZB.
And Dame Lisa Carrington is with us. A very good morning to you, and lovely to see you.
Yeah, good morning. It's lovely to be here.
Now, Elise Andrews, who we had in the program a couple of weeks ago, so these are these eclectic questions I ask people like you. What's your observation, given your experience at the elite end of sport, that most sports people are elegant, eloquent, and together as human beings? What is it about sport that makes you that way?
I wouldn't. Not everyone's like that, right? I think
Give me names.
No, I guess as a sports person, and particularly maybe a New Zealander, if you're working on yourself as a human, your performance is also unlocked in that way. Yeah.
And the value then of programs, so rowing, paddling, cycling, sailing, equestrian at Olympic level has been very good. What weight do you place on the value of programs to propel athletes forward?
I guess in my experience, it's the people and the desire to push boundaries, to grow, to learn, to figure out how just to get better. So for us, program is important, but also my coach, my teammates. That's a huge importance. Yeah.
What's the role in your life of the coach?
Gordy, he writes the program, he plans our campaign. It's huge, and he's a mentor as well. So he has a huge influence on my performance.
Has he, obviously you grow closer over time, but is it one of those things, if you're the right personality, you can be coached by anybody? Or is it a very individual thing?
I think if you're a learner, you've got to be coachable. So absolutely, you can be coached by anyone. And I think you've got to really understand what you need and how people can help you, and that people aren't there to serve you. You've got to figure out, what you can probably do for them, and I guess have an aligned vision of where you want to go.
When you get to what you've achieved, what's still coachable?
That is the challenge, is to make sure that I still don't believe I know everything. So I still have to get better technically, physically. So it's...
See, I find that hard to believe. Is that just one of those things you say to yourself?
Yeah.
Because what you really want to say is there is no one better than me, and that's not an arrogant thing to say. It's just a statement of truth.
Yeah, but I guess there's what is the measure of best, or your best? It's only your best, right?
Gold.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we are competing against people, but what is it a world record? Is it your best? Yeah. So I think you have to look beyond the finish line or a gold medal and go, actually, I want to be able to do this. And every time you achieve those little things, winning a gold medal, if I thought that winning a gold medal was my best, I would have stopped in London. I would have stopped after Rio. I would have stopped after Tokyo.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out what is more. And as I think, I think you can just completely learn and grow as a person. It's got to be more.
Do you think you're still doing that?
Yeah, I think I've learned so much in the last year. Every year, I guess you there's one of our coaches said, if you're not embarrassed by the person you were, you're not growing. So
that's a good line.
I think it's if I look through every medal, every moment, it's not always about the medals. They just signify that moment.
Yeah.
But it's got to be more than crossing the finish line first. It has to be.
I just can't work out what that is, though. See, that's the fascinating thing. You must be going through that right now, then, mustn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think also finishing, having done the sport for this long, it's taken me this long to really perform in that week of Paris and have 100% joy and satisfaction in racing. And I think a lot of the time I've raced in the past and it's been out of just needing to win, just because that's the expectation on me. But for Paris, I managed to get to a place where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do my best. I love my teammates.
Yeah.
We have given our heart and soul into this. So,
but that's because I'll tell you what that is. What that is you've got nothing left to prove.
or you just don't have to prove anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No one doubts who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
So therefore you can truly enjoy it and be yourself and express yourself, in your case, with a paddle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you can probably find that at any stage, whether you are going to come last or come first. But that is probably the hardest thing to do.
Do you want to leave, and I don't want to ask you tricky questions that you'll squirm over, but do you, just big picture stuff, do you want to leave, have you even thought about it, do you want to leave at the top, or it doesn't bother you?
Yeah, that's, I think you would, I don't know. I think in sport right now, being in the position I am, being the fastest I've ever been, strongest, whatever, it is hard to think, oh, maybe I'll stop now because, well, what else is there? So I don't know, maybe, I think, to be honest, it has to be a different thing. So every Olympics is different. And if I go to that next stage of life or whatever, it's almost like it has to be about something else. So the challenge has to be different. And so maybe the challenge is so big, the next one, that I can't be the best.
Would you still go though, knowing you're not the best?
Yeah, I think that's
this
part
is
of
where,
sport.
ooh, this is where we're at. And do you take advice on that, or are you one of those people who thinks that stuff for yourself?
No, I definitely take advice. I really have there's a handful of people that I've had in my life for a good 15 years that have helped me get to this point. Yeah. And I think you have to rely, I think it actually just comes back to who you are, what you want, and am I on a path that I enjoy.
Good on you. And obviously part of that is the business of getting up, I assume it's early, and
kind of.
and paddling for long hours and doing what you do, which is the other part I admire so much about you. You seem to be above all elite athletes who are all dedicated to what they do, that next level up, which is you know what you need to do to get to be the best. And there's something in that, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's I guess it's compounding interest. So years and years of being at a high level, you keep adding experience, training to the bank, and it just compounds over time. So I guess I have a fair bit of IP that I would just continue to love to share as well.
Where does age fit in, and the physical constraints of age?
I think there's a conception that sport is short, especially for females. So I am not sure. I think we're exploring new areas. I don't know. There's not too many New Zealand Olympic athletes that are over 35.
How old are you?
35.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I feel younger than that.
Yeah, you'll be 39.
Yeah. Yeah, the next one.
And so is there a group of people out there that can guide you in that sense that 39's not a thing, or?
Absolutely. I think we just, there's no limit, I think.
What will that be made up of? How much of it will be made up of diet, training, psychology, experience, and all those other bits and pieces versus just the natural, your body does what your body does and there's nothing you can do about that?
Yeah, I guess that's what we're learning. Like as athletes, we are a constant experiment. So data is being gathered all the time, our sleep data, our training data, heart rate, etc. So I guess what we're learning is, although there's improvement, it's like, when does that improvement stop happening? And what is that due to? Is it, physiology? Is it mentality, diet? But yeah, there's definitely a play of, I'm sure there's a point where your body can't do more, but your mind might be able to.
Do you enjoy being disciplined? Because here's the other thing I think about a lot, and that is that discipline, it's great when you're doing it, but when you do it all the time, you think, geez, wouldn't it be great just to blob out for a while and just let myself go a bit? And you see it a lot in ex-athletes who clearly have. And I've never quite got me, but I wonder, are you disciplined naturally? So that no matter where you end up in life, you will be a disciplined person.
Maybe there's a bit of fear there. If I'm not disciplined, things won't go well. So I think there's probably a natural worry that I need to stay disciplined. But I think you just learn, it's gradual, right? I've figured out for me an equation where I can be disciplined, but it just becomes kind of daily. So it's not huge, like, you got to stick to this routine, got to eat all this food. It's actually small things that I've developed that make it easier to turn up.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So which brings you to the children's book. This as an exercise is about what?
So it's really about the journey of 8-year-old Lisa having a goal and the journey of achieving it, and that comes with little challenges and ways to kind of come back to it.
Do you send a message in the book that all things are possible? Because I'm being older than you and I'm an old dinosaur and all that crap. The way that kids are dealt with these days are perhaps not the way that you were dealt with as a child, and certainly I wasn't. And that is that there's a little bit too much leeway about turning up and not, winning doesn't really matter all that much and stuff like that. Do you send a message that turning up counts sometimes?
Yeah, absolutely. That is one of the messages in the book. Young Lisa has a friend, and she asked her for advice, and she said, if it's just about showing up. And so, it's about turning up. It talks about turning up. It's about your parents being that person that listens to you. There's so many little messages in there from, about a little bit about discipline or having a plan, but also that, there are challenges and you have to keep turning up.
Isn't that one of the great stories of the Olympic Games, and we saw it recently in Paris, is everyone had a mum or a dad or an uncle or an auntie, and they were all there. It was like, there it is, this is the moment, and we've all worked towards this, and it's the greatest thing in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's really special to be able to share that with the people at home, that have come there to watch you perform, and particularly, like, it went so well for us at the Games, and so for, across the board. And so I think, your parents, they give so much.
Yeah. Don't they all?
Yeah.
Everyone does. So this takes you where? This is the first of 18 books?
Yeah, I hope to do a couple more children's books.
Yeah.
So at the end there, I kind of shares that there's another journey.
Good.
So it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Well, so she can have journeys and adventures till forever, can't she?
Oh, always. Too many lessons to learn and relearn, right?
Good on you. Well, thank you for bringing these glorious things in. Do you weight them, by the way, in terms of importance or moments?
Learnings and feelings. And, I guess it's like every one of those medals, I am I'm a different person, like more experienced or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, they're all pretty special. But I mean, Paris, the recent ones were amazing.
I reckon. And so they should be. Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
Go well. Talk again.
The Mike Hosking Breakfast, 6 to 9 weekdays on Newstalk ZB.